say old design, not necessarily old in years. If you want to know a little secret, I always had a hankering to build one of these things. I just think they're cool as all get out. Verhelst on the right-hand lane ran an 0.67 reaction time. Left lane ran a 0.176 for the Hamster Dragster. Left lane left lane takes it with a 105-mile-an-hour pass. Mustang on the left-hand side, GT350 Mustang. Pretty rare little car. The original racing GT350s were actually built and designed by Carroll Shelby. He took Mustang fastbacks and he had to race them in the Can-Am series, and he modified them into Shelbys. So the Shelby drivetrain went into a Mustang, made a whale of a street car. Oh, here he comes, whistling Dixie. This little Mustang on the left-hand side, Mustang 2, you listen to it. I'm not gonna talk, because when it takes off, you listen to it. About the top end of each one of the gears, it has a howl comes out of the exhaust system. There's the whistle. Boy, that Chevy in the right-hand lane is that's pretty thick on the throttle or on the carburetor, man. It's pumping fuel all the way down to the top end. Yeesh. Right lane ran an 1855. It sounds like the times I used to run back in the day when I drag raced. Couple of half-ton pick-me-up trucks. Come to the go-to-town truck. That's the one without the dents in the rust. Smoke is not coming from the engine, folks. That is a back tire just losing traction. When I was very much younger, a fella in my hometown of Assiniboia bought the very first muscle car I ever saw. It was a 1965 GTO 4-speed. And when he took off with it, I thought he blew the engine because I'd never known a car could smoke the tires. Drivers meeting should be coming up right shortly, guys. Drivers meeting. crew out of the way. Drivers meeting right shortly.
That looks like a Chevelle in your Cyrus Motors left-hand lane. Go fast, don't die, it's got on that back window. That's what you got to do, really. And that's Camaro in your fluid automotive left-hand lane.
That's better.
At the top of the quarter mile, the Chevelle takes at 11.78 seconds, 116 miles an hour, 0.032 compared to 0.254, pardon me.
Wow, that little silver Camaro has some RPM to it. Holy man. Sounds like it goes very fast. Yike. Top end of the quarter mile left lane runs at 10.60 at 128 miles an hour. Wow, that thing makes some serious horsepower. Right lane ran at 1573, 87 miles an hour. Okay, drivers, we're just getting down to the last of the open track stuff. We're going to have a drivers meeting at the Green Monster, please. Drivers meeting at the Green Monster, please.
You want to see a neat looking car, keep your eyes out to that Fluids Automotive right hand lane. That is a mean looking hot rod. Not sure what it is, but it looks cool. And in your Cyrus Motors left hand lane, that is a looking like a 90s Chev short box. Randy Stowe is the name on that. Those two got up and went. Top end of the quarter mile, it's a right-hand lane, 15.01 seconds. The left-hand lane. Drivers meeting should be immediately following these last few tests and tunes at the Green Monster. Drivers meeting should be following these last tests and tunes at the Green Monster, please and thank you. is a mean blue. Cobalt blue, looks like. .288 on the reaction time. Top end of the quarter mile, 10.9 seconds, 122 miles an hour. Boy, that car really got up and went, didn't it?
And we are kicking things off with a race, folks. Well, that's all we do here, but this is going to be a good race. In your Cyber Motors left-hand lane, that is the Mustang 2. And in the Clueless right-hand lane, that's that jet black Camaro. Rocking and rolling in your left-hand lane, that's Trace Strand out of Bologna with that 2001 silver Ford Mustang. And in your Fluids Automotive Group right-hand lane, that's Cheryl Siemens coming out of Lucky Lake with that 69 Cougar. Let's see how it goes here. Top end of the quarter mile. That is a left-hand lane win for Mr. Chase Strand, 12.24 seconds, 112 miles an hour. Reaction time, .123. Cheryl Siemens with a 16.9. In the left-hand lane now, Aspen Watane out of Assiniboia with that 2011 Camaro. And in your Pluis Automotive Group right-hand lane, Toby Harder, not sure how that's pronounced, out of Vanguard with that 2000s Ford Mustang. Really like the color on that car. My mom always likes cars of that color. Little bit of a shake, rattle, and roll there on that right-hand side. He seemed to recover. However, that is a left lane win for Aspen Watane, 14.08 seconds, 101 miles an hour. Reaction time, .73. Sherry Larson out of Brooks, Alberta, driving that 89 Mustang. And in your right-hand side, Trevor Newsom out of Mortlack with that 92 GM 1500. that is a red light in your left-hand lane. Now we just got to have the right hand not break out, and then we got a victory. And he kept her steady. 15.29 seconds, 93 mile an hour. Dean 80 out of Manhattan, your Cypress Motors left-hand lane with that 62 M100 Mercury truck. That's a neat little unit. And in your right-hand lane, Dan Martin out of Lacadena with the 68 Impala. Got a 394 under the hood of that sucker. Sorry, Impala, pardon me, that's medium. At the top end of the quarter mile, that is a left-hand lane win for Mr. Dean 80, 13.83 seconds, 96 mile an hour. His reaction time, 0.106. Dave Rain out of Moose Jaw with the 2005 Magnum, going up against Chuck Acaster out of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan in the 1971 D100. Top end of the quarter mile, that's a left-hand lane win. Gives the right lane 13.7 seconds, 101 miles an hour. Good old Randy Coop from Speedy Creek with the 2000s black and red, and gray in there too, Chev pickup. Going up against Radville's Curtis Scott with that teal 59 Chev. Like I said before, that is a cool color. My Uncle Scott knows what I'm saying when that is an Austin's color truck. Little bit too quick on the start gun there for Mr. Curtis Scott. Coming up on the top end of the mile, 16.02 seconds, 85.7 miles an hour. Smoking on the drag strip, smoking some tires there on Ron Frame's part, and that's a left-hand lane win. 13.09 seconds, 106 miles an hour. Ronnie got 14.02 and 113. Now, I bet you a dime to a pinch, my dad's going to want to pay attention to this one, because in that Pluis Automotive Group right-hand lane, that is a 2024 Chevy Corvette. My dad's a Corvette man through and through, so this would be his favorite race. And in that left-hand lane is Cam Semenuk with the 69 Mustang. And that's Perry Verhelst driving that Corvette out of Radville. And that is a right-hand lane win for Mr. Perry Verhelst, 12.44 seconds at 115 miles an hour. Reaction time 4.75. Junior Dragster, Junior Street to the station. Top end of the quarter mile. It's looking like it is a runaway victory for Mr. James Frayne in that 1982 Chev S10. 0.026 reaction time, 11.48 seconds at 122 miles an hour. That looks like Ethan Wattast coming out of Radville in that Silverado. And Zach Drew out of Regina, and that's an 84 Pontiac Grand Prix he's behind the wheel of. Top end of the quarter mile, that's a right-hand lane win for the Grand Prix. 12.13 seconds at 114 miles an hour with a reaction time of 0.214. Here comes the truck. Blaine Doling out of Whitla, Alberta with that neat little truck, I guess. And yeah, the truck. And in your Fluids Automotive Group right-hand lane, Jim Picum out of Gravelbourg. And that is a Camaro. Not sure what year it is. Top end of the quarter mile, the truck takes it 13.3 seconds, 102 miles an hour, 0.149 the reaction time on that one. The Camaro was 0.417 for those that are curious. In your Cypress Motors left-hand lane, Devin Pratt behind the wheel of the Pontiac GTO. Why couldn't it have been race orange? Come on! Pardon me, that's not a GTO, that's a Pontiac Le Mans. And that's true, I mean, they made GTOs out of those, so that makes sense. Right-hand lane takes it, 0.098 reaction time, 12.1 seconds, 111 miles an hour. It's the battle of the Chevrolets in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane. Paul Hofford out of McTaggart with that 93 Chevy truck. And in your Plutus Automotive Group right-hand lane, Tim Bowers coming out of Weyburn with that beautiful orange 71 Camaro. I would like to own a car that color. Top end of the quarter mile, that is a right-hand lane win for the Camaro, 11.82 seconds on 116 miles an hour, reaction time 0.56. Junior Dragster up next, Lucas Lyman out of Viceroy. These are based on them 5 horsepower Briggs and Stratton motors. .37 seconds, reaction time 0.018, 77.9 miles an hour. Another junior dragster up, Victoria Desjardins in the 94 Cosby CR Mini. And she's out of Regina. Once again, it's a Briggs & Stratton motor, souped up to the max.
Cylinder inboard. You'll hear the moan come out of it. It's different than you hear out of any V8. I'm not sure what color Colby has on that. I think it's called cobalt blue, and it's absolutely amazing blue color. And a little bit later down the track, 10.96 seconds to be exact. Right lane, El Coffin turned to 12.34 second pass at 105 miles an hour. Bruno Peters out of Musha, 1971 Chevy Nova in the Cyclist Motors left-hand lane. Bruno's have been up to this track a lot. Great Musha riders. He's going up against Nate Seidel on the Swift track. And he's in the Plymouth Auto Group right-hand lane. Boy, I'll tell you, somebody's all over that throttle trying to get going. Hoy vey! Through the quarter mile, the left lane runs an 11.22 second pass, 133 miles an hour. Right lane, Nate Seibel ran a 12.8. Brian Westerhog. He lives in Swift Current. He's driving in the left-hand lane. And Ray Schultz out of Swift Current on the right-hand lane. of the quarter mile. It's going to be a left lane. Brian Westerhog running at 10:46 at 128 miles an hour. And Ray Schultz ran 11:38 at 116 miles an hour. Okay, you know, I always keep saying I got favorite cars, right? I always pick out the ones these are my favorites. And that little blue and white Maverick on the far side, I love those Mavericks. Steve Beck out of Dunmore, Alberta. 74 Ford Maverick on the right lane. Pete Littleketti, Stuttgart on the left lane, 83 Pontiac Grand Prix. I talked to Steve Beck about that Maverick. He said that was his first car when he was in high school. He lost it for about 20, 25 years and then bought it back just a short while ago and made it into a race car. Guys are working like mad to find traction on that left lane. Right lane, the Maverick runs at 11:26, 11.26 seconds at 120 miles an hour. Left lane, truly out of the throttle on that one. Rob Pratt, Rampville Rat Pack. 1977 Pontiac Trans Am. I'm against Tyler Zeller out of Medicine Hat. Tyler's part of the SCDRA Racing team. 1982 Chevy Camaro. Every time you see Zeller on the side of the car, you got a car that's really hard to beat. Very quick racer. Mr. Zeller got, wow. It's Doug Zeller in the left lane, and up against Larry Smith out of Gull Lake in the right-hand lane. Left lane ran a 9.60 second, 143 mile an hour pass. Right lane, 11.45 at 119 miles an hour. We got Chase Strand out of Boulier, Saskatchewan in the left lane, up against Randy Stowe out of Medicine Hat in the right lane. It's going to be the first call for Super Pro. If you want to start lining up, Super Pro, you can start lining up, please. First call. Watch Chase make a pass with his silver Mustang a little earlier on in the day. Man, it sounds like it's just a screamer. Randy Stowe's driving the S10 on the right-hand lane. And through the top end of the quarter mile, it's going to be a right lane running an 11.98 second pass. 100. Left lane, the Mustang ran a 12.13 second pass. A little over 100 mile an hour pass. Now Al Diamond, Viceroy, Saskatchewan, 1970 Plymouth Duster, going up against Dave Foy out of Abbey. Generation 1, 1967 Camaro in the right-hand lane. Small block Chevy in the right lane, big block Dodge on the left. Through the top end of the quarter mile, left lane runs a 10.86 seconds, 123 miles an hour. Right lane, Dave Foy at 130 miles. Jesse Langley, Swift Current, Saskatchewan on the left-hand lane now. Second call, Super Pro to those staging lanes. Super Pro to the staging lanes. So Jess Langley is driving a 1983 Ford EXP against Kevin Langley. Oh, another one out of Swift Current. A 1985 Ford Thunderbird. Jim. At the top end, the left lane trips the traps at a 10.02 seconds, 135 mile an hour pass. The right lane, 11.68 seconds at 116 miles per hour. Hot rods coming up here now on the left lane. Duck Boston out of Medicine Hat. Really cool looking Cavalier to me. Other side, we got Jim Crawford on the Hodgeville. Mustang. Wait a minute. Up there's a Camaro. Oh, it's not you. I said it wrong. That Foster out of Medicine Hat, left lane. Jim Crawford out of Hodgeville in the right lane. Now they're corrected. That's the 1996 Grand Am. Good launch of both cars. That was hard. That worked good. Through the top end of the quarter mile. It's a left lane running a 10.16 second, 138 mile an hour pass. Right lane, Jim Crawford ran a 10.71 at 127 miles an hour. Medicine Hat, the home of Paul Semko. He's in the left-hand lane. The Cypress Motors left-hand lane, 2004 Ford Mustang. He's going up against Gullet, Saskatchewan's Randy Taylor. He's driving a 1969 Mercury Cougar. That's his other Cougar. Whoa, got some smoke coming out of that Mustang on the left-hand lane. But, where you going there, buddy? Whoa, 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 back up there, Newt. Whoa, you're going too far. He was out a little earlier on, but he was dripping stuff on the track. And so they had to shut the car down. Nothing worse on a drag strip and a set of slicks like oil on one side. That'll spin you sideways faster than you can correct. Okay. stage. Now he's going to sneak up on it this time. There's the pre-stage light. Now we'll roll ahead a couple of inches, and the second light should pop on. There. Now it's ready to get triggered. If he goes anywhere now, it's a red light. And he's off and running. That's a 1961 Ford Falcon. They originally came with about 80-odd, 90-odd horsepower, 6 cylinders in them. I don't even know what that one's got, but it's big. Ran at 10:38 seconds, 133 miles an hour. On the Lewis Auto Group right-hand lane out of Kyle, Saskatchewan, the Norse Hot Rod King, Lee Mollerud. On the left-hand lane, Kelly Kreitzer out of Balgonie, Saskatchewan with a very, very fast S10 pickup. He's out of Balgonie, the other side of the ground. This is, what was it? Uncle Power. Top end of the quarter mile. Left lane runs a 9:53 at 145 miles an hour. Right lane, the rail dragster ran a 10:53 at 127 miles an hour. Chris Neil Langdon out of Regina now in the right-hand lane. Generation 1 Camaro. So Greg McKay in the left-hand lane, he ran a 9:42 at 146 miles an hour. Right lane, 9:83 for the little Dodge Plymouth Arrow at 136 miles an hour. Leroy Schmeier out of Saskatoon on the left lane. He's driving a 1986 Buick Regal, and he's going up against Rockin' Ronnie Schultz in the Bossa Nova. That alcohol that he's got stuck on the window, that's the fuel he uses. That's not what he drinks. Top end of the quarter mile, the right lane runs an 8.97 seconds, 153 miles an hour. Mr. Schmidt out of Saskatoon ran a 9.60, 142 mile an hour pass. Heads up cars, can you make it to the staging lanes, please? Those in the heads up class, make it to the staging lanes, please. Camaro 500 plus cubic inches of big block Chevy on board. 4 engines. And a single pass brings him to the top end of the quarter mile in 9.3 seconds, 144 miles an hour. Now we should have some heads-up cars. These are cars that are going to race heads up, no handicap from what I gather. So any heads-up cars make it to the staging lanes, please. Sportsman drivers, you can get set for the second round of qualifications. Sportsman drivers, second round of qualifications, please.
Starting things off with the heads-up races, Mike Gross with the 2000s Jet Black Mustang. Scott Layowski in your Plus Automotive Group right-hand lane out of Regina, and he's got the 2002 Mustang. Battle of the Stangers. And how about this? Instead of going the full quarter, they're only going an 8. So, time will be absolutely nutty. And that is a left-hand lane win for Mr. Mike Gross. Well, that malfunction, we'll call it. Little bit of technical difficulties. But regardless, the show must go on. Now this one isn't quite that. This is Wild Nova. And that's the Fox Body Mustang on the right side. And Mike Aker takes that one, 6.6 seconds, 103 mile an hour. 0.358 on the reaction time. And if you're looking for a bite to eat, considering it is around noon, Mama T's is on that same side of the track. Get yourself some French fries, some chicken strips, whatever suits your fancy. Kevin Snelling in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane with that 69 Buick Special. And Toby Harder out of Vanguard with that 2000 Ford Mustang in the Pluis Automotive Group right-hand lane. Like I said before, that is a neat color on that car. I always talk about colors. I'm a color man, so that color, my mom likes that color, and I do too. So. Top end of the quarter mile. Looking like it's going to be a right-hand lane victory. 0.269 on the reaction time for Mr. Harder. 16.38 seconds, 92 mile an hour, compared to 11.89 and 112 mile an hour, although they did Mr. Snelling did red light. So there's that. Aspen Watine out of Assiniboia, driving that jet black 2011 Camaro with them white racing stripes going all the way across the top. And Dana Pratt with the 2019 GM 500. It's a battle of the General Motors. At the top of the quarter mile, that looks like it is a left-hand lane win for the Camaro. 13.91 seconds at 102 mile an hour with a reaction time 0.328. Right-hand lane 17.06, 73 mile an hour, 0.26 on their reaction time. Now this one I don't know who to cheer for. In your Cypress Motors left-hand lane, Perry Verhelst out of Radville, the Radville Rat Pack in that beautiful blue 2024 Chev Corvette. And in the Pluis Automotive Group right-hand lane, another Radville resident, Curtis Scott in that 59 Chev. On one hand it's the Corvette, on the other hand I like the color. Let's see who comes out on top. That is a left-hand lane win for Mr. Perry Verhelst. 12.28 seconds at 116 mile an hour with a reaction time 0.155. Craig Herbert out of Mortlack, Saskatchewan in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane with that black and red Camaro. Strand out of Bullion with a 2001 Ford Mustang on your right side. Top of the quarter mile, that's a right lane win for Mr. Chase Strand. 11.94 seconds, 114 mile an hour, 0.075 the reaction time there. Tim Bowers in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane out of Weyburn, Saskatchewan. In that racing orange Camaro. Plou's Automotive Group right-hand lane with the 1992 1500 GM. And he comes from Mortlach. Or as my mother would say, Mortlach. Top end of the quarter mile, that is a left lane win for Mr. Tim Bowers, 11.86 seconds at 116 mile an hour. Reaction time of .094. I hear that distinct engine, and I know one thing for sure, that he's the truck. Blaine Doling out of Whitla, Alberta with the 85 Chev the truck. And your Plou's Automotive Group right-hand lane, that's Paul Offord out of McTaggart in the 93 Chev. The battle of the Chevy trucks. There's a 454 Chevy underneath the hood of the truck. Rolling it to the end of the quarter mile, that is a left-hand lane win for Mr. Blaine Doling, 13.1 seconds at 102 miles. At the end of the track, that is a left lane win, 14.21 seconds, 97 mile an hour for the Challenger. 0.446 reaction time. The Gravel Borgien did it in 0.25, 17.15 seconds, 83 mile an hour. Steltler out of Weyburn behind the wheel of that Fortescue Green 68 Impala. 376 LS underneath the hood of that puppy. And your Plou's Automotive Group right-hand side, Dean 80 from Manhattan, the Mercury M100. The unibody truck. The reason they call it a unibody, there is no top end of the quarter mile, that's a left lane win for the Impala, 12.92 seconds at 107.4 mile an hour. 0.013 the reaction time there. Behind the wheel of the 78 Cobra. Going up against Rockin' Ronnie Frayne in the 51 Studebaker. I will call that the Miami Vice car because that paint job looks like it's ripped straight out of it. Top end of the quarter mile, that's the Studebaker takes at 12.3 seconds, 113 mile an hour, 0.039 the reaction time there. It is now a battle of the Chevrolet trucks. In your Cypress Motors left-hand lane, Ethan Watass out of Radville, driving the 2011 Silverado. And on the right-hand side, that is James Frayne out of Weyburn in the 1982 S10. Papa James. Junior Drag and Junior Street to the line, please. Junior Drag and Junior Street to the line, please. Couple of quick little trucks, but it's the right lane that takes it, 11.37 seconds at 124 mile an hour. Reaction time 0.24 seconds. Dave Rain out of Moose Jaw behind the wheel of that silver 2005 Magnum with a 5.7 liter Hemi underneath it. And in your Pluis Automotive Group right-hand lane, Sherry Larson out of Brooks with the 89 Mustang. Those are some neat-looking flames. Silver and green, not a color choice that's common, but it still looks killer. That is a right-hand lane win for the Mustang. 13.21 seconds, 99 mile an hour. Reaction time 0.0029. That's a quick one. The #1 highway battle, Zach Day Crew out of Regina in the 84 Grand Prix, going up against Randy Coop from Swift Current in that 2000s Chevy pickup. That's Lucas Lyman out of Viceroy in that junior dragster. 0.04 reaction time, 8.47 seconds at 79 mile an hour.
So fast.
20th anniversary. Wow. I think I've got a 15th or 10th. I don't remember. I've got the early one, so I got to get another one this year. You're as old as this T-shirt. Don't. I got an announcing partner here, and he just shot me right in the foot. He says I'm as old as the T-shirt. Sheesh. Anyway, Junior Streetcars up here now. I'm going to do this just for a sec. This is Beatrix Paul's out of La Riviere, Manitoba on the left side. 2016 Toyota Tundra. Carter Andres out of Herbert on the right side. 2011 GMC 1500. Like I said, these vehicles in an eighth of a mile are limited to 8 9 seconds and slower. So that's about the same speed as a junior dragster, to be honest. 67 miles an hour on the right-hand lane, 10.61 seconds. Left lane, 10.80 at 66 miles an hour. Okay, pro cars to the line, please. Pro cars, you can line up, please. Pro cars to the line. First call, pro cars, second round of qualifications. Pro cars, once again. Brooklyn Endicott on the left-hand side, the McTaggart Saskatchewan car, 1971 Plymouth Roadrunner. I had a 69 Roadrunner, same color as this, only mine had a white top. Evangeline Pauls on the Riviera, Manitoba, the 2014 Dodge Trail 3500. And you can hear the moan out of that big old six-banger Cummins diesel in that thing.
And the 63 Chevy Nova deuces wide. Both these gentlemen have been around the track a lot of times, so we'll see which one comes out on top. Top end quarter mile, that produces wild, turns that one 10.5 seconds, 125 miles an hour with a reaction time of 0.016.
Saskatchewan, Cobalt Blue 67 Chevy Chevelle up against Al Seibel out of Swift Current. Al's driving an 82 Ford Mustang. 11.54 seconds on the right lane, 117 miles an hour. 11 flat on the left lane at 122 miles an hour for the Chevelle. Delbert Allen out of Cantor, Saskatchewan. And here's Chevy 2 Nova. And a supercharged 1977 Pontiac TA. Rob Pratt, one of the Radville Rat Pack out here, been here since we opened this track 20 years ago. Been racing as long as that. He's been racing mostly, the original car was a 65 Chevy four-door sedan, and he ran in the stock, super stock NHRA classes at Saskatoon. And then he came back down here and Al Diamond. He is out of McCrory, or sorry, Viceroy, my mistake. Viceroy, Saskatchewan, just east of Assiniboia. One up against Chase Strand on a Boulier in the right-hand lane, 1971 Ford Mustang. Left lane is a 1970 Plymouth Duster with a great big thumping 440 big block Dodge engine on board. Through the top end of the quarter mile, left lane runs a 10.81 second pass, 123 miles an hour. Right lane, 11.8 seconds. I said before, one of the perennial competitors out here from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Mr. Bruno Peters in the right lane. He's going up against Josh Whites. I don't have a town. He's a Saskatchewan boy in the left lane. Josh Whites, all I got is Saskatchewan. I don't know what that is. He's driving a 64 Chevy Malibu. That's the one with the black doors. And Bruno Peters is driving a 71 Chevy Nova, the blue car on the right-hand side. You know, I know this is dumb, but if I had this Chevelle on this left-hand lane, I'd be tempted to put a sheriff's star on the door and leave it just the way it is. Make it look like a sheriff's cop car. And at the end of the quarter mile, a 10.39 second pass for the right lane, 135 miles an hour. Left lane, 11.48 seconds and 120 miles an hour. Ray Schultz now in the left-hand lane. Third generation driver out of Swift Current. He's going up against Paul Semko out of Medicine Hat. Mr. Semko is driving a 2004 Ford Mustang. Left lane, the Pontiac Ventura of Ray Schultz. Schultz, I noticed he's got 1187 dialed up on the side of the car. We'll see how close he is on that elapsed time. 11:13 at 115 miles an hour for the left lane. Paul Semko runs at 12:24 an hour. Well, I don't really know what all that was about, but Randy Taylor did a big hiccup, take off and stop and go again. Ran 11:46 at 126 miles an hour. Meanwhile, Dave Foy out of Abbey in that first generation now in the right lane. He ran 130 miles an hour. Nate Seibel now, Swift Current, Saskatchewan on the left-hand lane. He's up against Brian Westerhog out of Swift Current. Brian's driving a 73 Plymouth Cuda. Another one of them cobalt blue cars. Holy moly. Popular paint job. Nate Seibel, one of the most wonderful bosses in the universe. Great little body shop. Super people working for him. Love the man to crazy. He's really good to Super Pro to the line, please. Super Pro to the staging lanes. Super Pro division. Yes, sir, Mr. Nate Seibel. A heck of a boss, heck of a guy. Employs great people. Oh, just so you know, my grandson started working at PDQ. Zeller, the SCDRA team out of Medicine Hat, Alberta on the left-hand lane. He's going up against Kevin Wilms out of Hepburn, Saskatchewan. It's not a car I've ever seen out here before, but that little rod looks like an awful lot of motor in an awful tiny car. Like, could you put a blower on a big block and then stuff it into a little Model T? Wow. The original Model Ts had 19 horsepower. Can you imagine? And at the top end of the quarter mile, the right lane ran at 10:46, 127 miles an hour. Left lane popped out a 13.3-second pass at 78 miles an hour. Obviously, that's an awful slow speed for Tyler's other start. He's off the throttle. Randy Stowe out of Medicine Hat, the left-hand lane, the S10 dialed in. Larry Smith out of Gull Lake. Larry's 1981 Chevy Camaro called the Gunslinger. Super Pro cars, second call to the line, please. Super Pro to the staging lanes, right away, please. Super. On the Lewis Auto Group right-hand lane out of Kyle, Saskatchewan. Lee Mallory. Going up to Kelly Kreitzer in 1982 Chevy S10 out of Balgony, Saskatchewan. Just Jabloni from Balgony. That's the way the song goes. And through the top end of the quarter mile, the left lane runs 9:46. 9.46 seconds for the little black S10, 146 miles an hour. The right lane is going to holy moly, that's an awful lot of horsepower rumbling away under there. Right-hand lane, the Lewis Auto Group right lane out of Saskatchewan. Greg Mackay, a first-generation Chevy Camaro, up against Greg Koogman out of the shop, 61 Ford Falcon. And at the end of a quarter mile, Greg Mackay ran a 9.23 seconds, 146 miles an hour. Left lane Brent Koogman, the Moose Jaw driver, ran a 10.61 second pass, 10.61 at 128 miles an hour. On the left hand, Cypress Motors Lane, Rockin' Ronnie Schultz in the Bossa Nova. Up against Leroy Schmeier out of Saskatoon in his 1986 Buick Regal. Heads up racers, to the line for staging, please. Heads up racers, to the line for staging. And through the top end, this is going to take very little time. 8.92 seconds for Ron Schultz, 153 miles an hour. Right lane, Leroy Schmeier runs a 9:46 at 144 miles an hour. With good reaction time for Ron Schultz, yes, 0.6. That's Neil Langdon out of Regina on the left-hand lane with Gene Mopar. Corey Schultz. Split during the Generation 1 Camaro. At the top end of the quarter mile, Corey Schultz runs a 9:28, 9.28 at 144 miles an hour. Left lane, Chris Langdon ran a 10.79 seconds at 107 miles an hour. This is Scott, oh boy, Wlayowski out of Regina on the left lane, 2002 Ford Mustang up against Mike Gross. Mike, don't have a town for him yet, but he runs a 2000 Ford Mustang, so it's Mustang versus Mustang. And the better reaction time belongs to the left lane, top end of the quarter mile. He runs a 6:40. Oh, that's 8th mile. My mistake. 6.40, 119 miles an hour. The right lane ran a 6.80, 120. This is 8th mile racing for this heads-up racing stuff. First round for eliminations for Sportsman Division. Through the staging lanes. That's Mike Akers, Deuces Wild Chevy 2 Nova Gasser. He ran a 6:53 in the 8th mile. Going up against Adam Steltler with that 68 Impala.
And unfortunately, it's all over at start line for the Impala. They got a red light there, so giving Da Truck the victory. 13.13 seconds at 102.3 miles an hour. The Impala 12.9 at 107 mile an hour. Randy Coop out of Swift Current, Saskatchewan, in that, I'm not sure what year that is, but I know it's a Chevy. I know it's a Chevy truck. His dial-in of 16.02. Aspen Watine out of Assiniboia in your Pluis Automotive Group right-hand lane in that black Camaro. Her dial-in's 13.85. So it'll be about a 3-second advantage for Mr. Coop. Good start for both lanes. We got a drag race, folks. Coming up the top of the quarter mile. Oh, and a left lane breakout for Mr. Randy Coop. That is a right lane win for the Camaro. 13.9 seconds at 101 mile an hour. Paul Hofford out of McTaggart in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane, driving that looks like it's a 93 black Chev, going up against Sherry Larson from Brooks, Alberta in the 89 Ford Mustang. 13.4 and 13.22 your respective dial-ins, so there'll be about 0.2 of a second advantage for the truck. I like that Mustang because the flames are a cool color. Top end of the quarter mile, that's right lane win for the Mustang. 0.14 reaction time, 13.3 seconds, 99.2 mile an hour. Distance of victory less than a car length. Wow, not even a car length, less than a foot. Come on. Dan Martin in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane, coming out of Lacadena with that 1968. Is that a Meteor or an Impala? I'm not sure. Going up against, is the Meteor, going up against Curtis Scott from the Ratville Rat Rod. 59 Chev. And it's all over at the start line. There was a red light for the Meteor, giving a right-hand lane win to Mr. Curtis Scott, 13.6 seconds, 98.73 miles an hour. There's that competition orange Camaro in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane. Driven by Tim Bowers of Weyburn. And Dana Pratt in your right-hand lane, driving the 2019 GM 1500. So there will be about a 5 or 6 second advantage for the GM. 11.22 and 17 up. That is a right lane win for Dana Pratt. There was a bit of a 16 seconds, 82 mile an hour. Dave Rain out of Moose Jaw driving that 2005 Dodge Magnum in your left-hand lane. And on the right side, that's the 72 Pontiac Le Mans. 13.59 and 13.8, your respective dial-ins. So there will be about 0.3 of a second advantage for the Pontiac. And that is a double breakout, but a left lane win for the Magnum. 13.552, 96 mile an hour, reaction time of 0.152. Only a 1/10 of a second difference, Gorblimey. Trevor Newsham coming out of Mortlach, Saskatchewan. He's driving that is that a Chevy or GM? They all look the same. That is a GM half-ton. His dial-in is 15 flat, going up against Ethan Wojtas in the 2011 Chevy Silverado. His dial-in is the exact same, so this will be a drag race, ladies and gentlemen. It's a right lane win for the 2011 Chev, 15.98 seconds, 77 miles an hour. Reaction time 0.288. Kevin Snelling out of Weyburn, Saskatchewan in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane behind the wheel of a 1969 Buick Special. Jim Pitum out of Gravelbourg, Saskatchewan in your Blues Automotive Group right-hand lane behind the wheel of the 69 Camaro. 11.89 and 16.5, your respective dial-ins. 5 seconds advantage will be given to the Camaro. Top of the track, that is a left lane win for Mr. Kevin Snelling, 12.21 seconds, 101 mile an hour. The reaction time 0.073. In the left-hand lane, Dean 80 out of Medhat driving that Mercury M100 unibody truck. And on the right-hand side, that's Zach DeCrew out of Regina behind the wheel of the 84 Pontiac Grand Prix. 13.74, 11.5, your respective dial-ins. So there will be a 2-second advantage given to that unibody truck. Top end of the quarter mile, that is a right lane win for the Pontiac Grand Prix. 11.85 seconds, 115 miles an hour. Reaction time 0.029. Junior Dragster, Junior Street to the line, please. Junior Dragster, Junior Street to the line, please. Perry Verhelst, part of the Radville Rat Pack in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane behind the wheel of that 2024 beautiful blue-looking Chev Corvette. Going up against Lucky Lake's Cheryl Siemens in that 69 Cougar. 12.28 and 16.75, your dial-ins. The Cougar is going to get a very long head start, about 4 or 5 seconds, 4.5 maybe. Split it down the middle. top of the track. Looks like we got a rundown, folks, and that is a right lane win for Cheryl Siemens. 16.83 seconds, 81.6 mile an hour. Reaction time, 0.361. She beat the Corvette by 2 car lengths, 29.04 feet. Goodness gracious. In your Cypress Motors left-hand lane, that's Craig Herbert out of Mortlack, or as my mother would say, Mortlatch, in the Camaro. Going up against Moose Jaw's Chuck Acaster in the Dodge D100. His dial in 12.91. At 100.07 mile an hour, reaction time 0.091. Battle of the Mustangs. Cam Semeniuk in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane in the 69 Mustang. Going up against Chase Strand out of Bullier. I believe that is the 2004. 2001.
Once again, Brooklyn Endicott on the left-hand lane, McTaggart, Saskatchewan. She has a 1971 Plymouth Barracuda. She's dialed up at 11.40. She's going up against Beatrix Pauls out of La Riviere, Manitoba. And she is going to be dialed up at a 10.55. So it's about a second advantage for the left lane. Looks like that one's all over at the start line as Beatrix just got a little bit too quick. 2/100ths of a second too quick on the trigger. So a red light for the right lane, hands the win automatically to the left. She wins it with a 61 mile an hour pass at 61 mile an hour and 11.43 seconds. Now we're talking Evangeline Pauls on the left-hand side out of La Riviere, Manitoba. 2014 Dodge 3500 up against Carter Andres, Herbert, Saskatchewan. 2011 GMC 1500 on the right. Almost like 1060 versus 1065. So this is Victoria Desjardins now out of Regina in her dragster. Small readjustment at the start line. Ready? We got a car coming down the other way. That's it, Victoria. Stand on it, girl. Give her. On the Cypress Motors left hand. Cypress Motors left hand. Cyber out of such current. Riley here's Dyke to 85 Red Street for 3. 12.24 is the dial in for him. Delbert Allen out of Cantor, Saskatchewan. 1969 Chevy Motor. Slight advantage for the left lane. We'll see what happens at the top end of the track. Oh, there's door handle to door handle. It's a good race. And it's a double breakout win for Delbert Allen. He ran a 12:08 on the 12:10. He's dialed up at a 10:50, so almost, well, over 2 seconds advantage for the hamster. Got a drag race top end. We'll see whether or not a blown TA can run down a 6-cylinder dragster and not break out. Nope, he can't. He broke out at the top end. Ran a 10:48 on his 10:50 dial in. Al Coffin wins it with a 12.40 elapsed time, but oh yeah, nice reaction time. 0:14. Good stuff. 98 miles an hour for the 6-cylinder dragster. Keith Charlie out of Regina now. 1166 with his Pontiac Belmont. He's going up against Ken Langley on a Swift Current. Ken's 1985 Ford Thunderbird dialed up at 11.20. So, oh man, it's almost even, but about a 4/10 of a second advantage for the Beaumont. Start line. Red light on that right-hand lane. Left side, 11.67 at 110 mile an hour. 1.66 dial in. That is tight. That's screaming into you here. Tim Crawford of the Hodgeville with the 1981 Chevy Z28. His dial in is 10.58. Going up against Brian Westerhog, the Blues Automotive Group of right-hand lane with a 73 Plymouth Cuda. His dial in is 10.36. 2/10 of the second advantage will go. And it's all over at start line. There's the red light on that left-hand side. Right lane with 10.41 seconds at 128.45 mile an hour. Reaction time 0.04.
And your Cypress Motors left-hand lane, Dave Foy out of Abbey, Saskatchewan in the 67 Camaro, going up against Jesse Langley from right here in Clifton with the 82 Ford. Lewis Automotive Group, right-hand lane. Good launch from both cars. We got a drag race. And that's a right lane win for Jesse Langley. 10.03. 10.039. A 10.03 on a 10 dial. Probably keep that there too. Super Pro cars to the staging lane, please. Super Pro cars to the staging lane. And your Cypress Motors left-hand lane, Bruno Peters out of Moose Jaw, driving that 71 Nova. And in your Lewis Automotive Group right-hand lane, Doug Zeller with the TZ Nova. Both 71 Novas. One's got a 540, the other's got a 555. 10.3 and 9.6 in respective dial-ins. See how they make her done here. Top end of the quarter mile. That's a left lane breakout and a right lane win for Doug Zeller. 9.63 seconds at 132 miles an hour. Reaction time 0.013. 15 100s too fast in that left-hand lane. Beck out of Dunmore, Alberta, in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane, behind the wheel of the 74 Ford Maverick, going up against Chase Strand from Joliet in that 61 Ford. That's not a 61 Ford Mustang, that's like a 11.28 and 11.87, your respective dial-ins. She's all over at start line. Red light on that left-hand lane. 0.013 of a second too quick. Right lane takes it 12.004 seconds, 113 miles an hour. Reaction time of 0.212. Al Diamond out of Viceroy, Saskatchewan, behind the wheel of the 1970 Plymouth Duster, going up against Medicine Hat's Doug Clausen in the 1996 Grand Am. 10.8 and 10.18 the respective dial-ins, so there will be both half a second plus advantage for the Duster. Couldn't quite wait there. Top end of the quarter mile though. That is a left lane win for Al Guyman, 123 miles an hour. 10.929 seconds. Second call for Super Pro to the line, please. Second call, Super Pro to the line. Ray Schultz, the Pontiac Ventura in the left-hand lane. His dial-in's 11.3. And Roland Ray Dewick out of Lucky Lake in your Lewis Automotive Group right-hand lane behind the wheel of the 1961 Ford Fairlane. 11.3 and 11.9 your dial-ins for this one, so there will be about 5/10 of a second advantage given to the Fairlane in that right-hand side, or on the right-hand side. We got a drag race, folks. Top end of the quarter mile. That is a left lane win for Ray Schultz, 11.32 seconds. 106 miles an hour, reaction time .021. Ray got .029. About 800ths of a second difference there. Randy Stowe in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane behind the wheel of the 1995 Chevy S10. Going up against Stowe Lake's Larry Smith in the 81 Chevy Camaro, the Gunslinger. 11.97 and 11.00 your dial-ins. And she's all over at the start line, folks. Larry Smith, 0.075 seconds too quick. That will give Randy Stowe a left lane victory, 11.82 seconds, 109.1 miles an hour with a reaction time, .296. Now we're bringing out the big guns, Super Pro time. And your Cypress Motors left-hand lane, the Flying Norwegian Lee Mallard in that 1922. And in your Plutus Automotive Group right-hand lane, Chris Neil Langdon out of Regina with the 1979 Plymouth Arrow. 10.55 and 9.9 your respective dial-ins. Unfortunately, it's all over at start line for the Plymouth, 0.471 seconds too quick. That is a left lane win for the Flying Norwegian, 10.50 seconds at 128 miles an hour with a reaction time of 0.209. The next two contestants on The Price is Right. The Cypress Motors left-hand lane, Kelly Kreitzer out of Balgoni, driving the 1982 Chev S10. Going up against Rockin' Ronnie Schultz with the 1971 Chevy Boss A Nova. Islands. It's all over at start line. Kelly Kreitzer 0.052 seconds too quick. That is a right lane win for Rockin' Ronnie, 8.88 seconds, 153 miles an hour. Reaction time 0.267. Next round, sportsman class to the staging lanes, please. Next round of sportsman class to the staging lanes. Leroy Schmeier out of Saskatoon in your Cypress Motors left-hand lane. I think that's the Buick Regal. His dial in 9.42, going up against Cordell. Corey Schultz, 9.29, his dial in. Trying to wheel that over. And it's all over at start line. The Regal 0.042 seconds too quick. You gotta be quick, but you gotta be able to be quick to a certain extent. 9.3 seconds for Corey Schultz, 144 mile an hour. His reaction time 0.02. And your Pluis Automotive, oh goodness, pardon me, word track. In your Pluis Automotive Group right-hand lane, that's my cousin that's not necessarily my cousin, but I call him my cousin, Greg Mackay in the 777 Silver Bullet Camaro. And in your left-hand lane, that is that neat-looking Ford Falcon. Who drives it, I can't remember. At the top end of the quarter mile, that is a right lane win for Greg Mackay, 9.25 seconds, 0.07 reaction time, 131.4 miles an hour. If it's 9.251 and his dial-in's 9.25, Greg, you don't have to touch that, buddy. Heads up, people. Should be at the line. And the buybacks are up next. So heads up, racers should be at the line. Buybacks are up next. Heads up.
On the Cypress Motors left-hand lane, 2000 Ford Mustang, Mike Gross. I don't have a town for Mike Gross. I don't know where he's from. Scott Valejowski out of Regina, 2002 Ford Mustang in the right-hand lane. So, 2 Mustangs and parachutes. Now, I don't know anymore, but in the old days, when you went over... For the uninitiated, the reason you see those cars doing that little monkey hop at the start to get going, they wind up the turbo. They power up the engine, wind up the turbo, and Aspen Wateen out of Assiniboia in the Cypress Motors left-hand lane, 2011 Chevy Camaro. His dial-in 13.89. Her dial-in. Her down, 13.89. Chuck Akester out of Moose Jaw. Short box 71 Dodge D100 truck. Dialed up at a 12.91. 1 second advantage for the Camaro. It looks like 2 green lights. Nothing going on here that's bad. We'll see what happens at the top end of the truck. And it's going to be a right lane win for Chuck Akester. He wins it with a 13:09 elapsed time, 98 miles an hour. Margin of victory less than a car length. 9/100ths of a second. Less than a car length. Good race. Blaine Doling now, Whitlow, Alberta. You know he's driving. Yep, the truck. Up against Cam Semeniuk, out of Swift Current. 1969 Ford Mustang, dialed up at a 13.80. The truck dialed up at a 13.10. So, advantage Mustang. And off they go. Top end of the quarter mile. Let's see what's happening. Right lane win for the Mustang. Cam Semeniuk wins with an 1386 on the 1380 dial-in, 94 miles an hour. Margin of victory less than a car length. About half a car length is what he won by. Ethan Whitus out of Radville, one of the Radville Rat Pack now in the right lane up against Wayburn's Kevin Snelling. Kevin is a perpetual, I call it a round winner. He is a very good driver. Now that's usually a jinx. I've been kind of unlucky about that kind of stuff, but Kevin Snelling has raced that Buick forever. Goes lots of rounds with it. So it'll be a big advantage for the Silverado truck in the right lane. Kevin's got to hold on. Wow, it's a drag race that'll run down at the top end without breaking out. And once he gains the upper hand, Kevin will be off the throttle. Yep. Wins it with a 12.35, 12.35 unit laps time, 92 miles an hour. Margin of victory about 2 car lengths. Clint Lawrence now. Estevan, Saskatchewan, 19. Viceroy, Saskatchewan. He's going up against Brian Westerhog out of Swift Current, 1973 Plymouth. Both of them 440 cubic inch big block RV Dodges. Al Diamond left-hand lane dialed up at a 1086. Brian Westerhog in the right-hand lane dialed up at a 1036. Half a second is that's what it looks like on the launch. We'll see what happens at the top end. Run them down without breaking out. That's the hard part. And it's a win for Brian Westerhog. He runs a 10:40, 129 mile an hour pass. On a 10-8 dial in. That's what it takes. So, Brian Westerhog will go on to the next round of eliminations. Come out now, Keith Desjardins out of Regina. Pontiac Beaumont dialed up at 11.66 up against James Crane out of Weyburn. James's S10 dialed up at 11.44. So about a quarter of a second advantage for the Regina Beaumont, the four-door sedan. At the top end of the quarter mile, it's a double breakout win for the left lane. Keith Desjardins ran 11:59 on 11:66. But he just broke up on the corner down. Scott Lytle, we need you at the Green Monster, please. Scott, we need you at the Green Monster, please. Randy Stone now on a medicine hat. 1995 Chevy S10. Dialed it in at 11.77 up against Jesse Lang on a Swift Correct at 1984. Oh mama, this is going to be a heck of a rundown. Through the top end of the quarter mile, it's a right lane win for Jesse Langley. He wins it at 130 miles an hour, 10.01 on a 10-0 dial in. Wow. It was a tenth of a second, the difference in the reaction time. Yoink. Dougie Zeller now out of Medicine Hat, 1971 Chevy Nova. He's got a bye run, so he's going to double check. His dial-in time is 9:60. Now it doesn't count. He can red light, he can do whatever he wants. All he's got to do is make it past the start line, and he's won this round. But he has to check his car to see whether what he's got dialed in is what it can do. This is where he's going to flat foot it right into the race. Through the top end of the quarter. Oh, nice reaction time. 0:08. 8/1000th of a second off. Perfect. Good one. 9:55 on a 960 dial in. He might want to look at that. It's a little bit quick. That would get him a red light. Or that would get him a breakout disqualification if that was with another car. So you might want to look at that. But short of that, 143 miles an hour. 9:55 is the elapsed time. Very quick run. Super Pro cars to the line, please. Last call, Super Pro to the line, please. And we have another bye run. Colby Hoagland gets a free ride to the next round. Out of the Cinema. He's dialed his car in at 10 minutes. So he wants to leave it out with this pass. Look at that. Ron Schultz, Rock and Ronnie in the Bossa Nova, dialed up at an 888. So looks like Greg Mackay and his Camaro on the right lane is going to get about, I would say, 4 tenths, just about a half second head start on the Nova. These two are, how shall I say, very quick automobiles. You get down to 9 seconds, that's a ton of horsepower. And that was all over at the start line. Roddy Schultz missed by 100th of a second. Red line at the start line, hands the win to Greg Mackay. He ran a 9:50. Oh man, Greg Mackay ran a 9:15 on a 9:15 dial. Wow. And it looks like they both red lit, but Ron Schultz red lit by more than Greg Mackay. I tell you, the stuff that goes on in those cockpits is amazing. Speed 146 miles an hour on the winning side, 9.15 on a 915 dial-in, and a right lane win for Greg Mackay. Flying Norwegian on the right-hand side out of Kyle, Saskatchewan, Mr. Lee Mallerud in that front engine dragster. Corey Schultz. Corey's out of Saskatchewan, his first generation Mustang. His driver, as soon as we get the number here, 929. So it's going to be almost 1.25 seconds advantage for the rail. The T-bucket direct rail on the right-hand side. Start line. Corey Schultz takes it home.